And now for our feature presentation.
Now we're going to talk about Bullet Train.
Yes.
But first,
Okay. Yes, give us your honorable mention of the week.
yeah, dude, I
By the way, honorable mentions may turn into episodes. We do not
Yes.
hold ourselves to. It's not like becoming a outfit in Smash. It doesn't mean you can't become a character later.
Doesn't that also not mean anything anymore? Didn't someone
don't
who was
know.
an outfit make it to
No, I think it was the
assist trophies?
assist trophy. I think somebody who was an assist trophy made it in.
I don't know. I don't know.
I could be wrong.
It doesn't matter. It never mattered.
Honorable mention.
Yes. I apologize.
It's okay.
I feel like I had one and I'm forgetting it.
What have you watched lately? I don't know. You haven't.
Well, I watched the Lego Masters is over. I wasn't going to talk about that, obviously. The Lego Masters Christmas special happened.
Thanks, Sean Connery.
But I'm obviously not going to talk about that. But Boone was in it. I don't know if you knew
I did.
that.
I did see that.
He
That's awesome.
They unfortunately partnered him with Robin Thicke, who is not my favorite, but dude. but yeah, that was fine. Man, I feel like there was one thing I watched that I had a lot to say about. I'm just trying to think of all the streaming services that there are, because I'm still watching Willow. Maybe it was that, because I've talked about Willow already, but maybe I was gonna do a Willow update. Fuck it, that's what I'm gonna do, because I can't quite think of the other thing I was going to talk about. I don't think I've watched a movie since I watched Pinocchio, so I really can't think of what I was going to talk about. Oh, there's a trailer for that 90s show.
I saw it.
Did you hear how they ruined the theme song? It sounds
No, I
pretty
actually
terrible.
didn't notice the theme song.
Yeah, it's in the background at the end. It really sounds like it truly sucks. But yeah, so I don't know what the internet thinks of this Willow show.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Cool.
I think it's so good. Just every episode, I'm just like, that was great too. I guess this show's just really good. Like I'm I'm liking it a lot, and what I'm really liking about it is there's no Willow lore. It's just the Willow movie and then the Willow TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, there's this one character, his name is Borman. Everything he says is a lore drop. He's like, oh, then we could pass through this and go up this mountain, but he names them all, and it's like, he said 4 things in a row, and I was like, these are all locations that weren't in the movie. This is all new, right? And that's exciting to me from a D&D, a writer of D&D, where I'm just like, it's very, I don't know, you could just do anything. And then if they show up later or not, who cares?
Right.
But there was something, so the fact that it was just one movie and one TV show, they're playing with that better than I thought they would. Because you have the sequel trilogy, right? Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Sometimes they do this good.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do this terrible. But there's a lot of moments where it's like, remember the old Star Wars movies?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not great, and that's kind of what I expected from this, but I'm really pleasantly surprised at how well they're doing that. I want to explain something that happened in the latest episode, because it's so cool in my opinion. So there's these 2 characters. One of them is the princess. She's the daughter of Queen Sorsha, who's a woman from the first movie, and she's the daughter of Queen Sorsha and Mad Mardigan, who was played by Val Kilmer in the original film. He was kind of like a barbarian, to put it in DJ terms, he was kind of like a thief, barbarian, like troublemaker, like chaotic good type stuff.
Yeah.
A real Han Solo type, if you will. And so she's their daughter. She's the daughter of those two characters. And you can really tell, like, how much of him and how much of her is in there. She has, like, a knight-in-training bodyguard that she is secretly in love with. They're doing a whole, like, secret lesbian romance thing that they're doing. The whole show is about rescuing her brother, Mad Mardigan's other kid, right? So episode like 1 or 2, you hear about bone reavers. They're like, oh, we got to look out for bone reavers. And you're like, what is that? You look it up. It's nothing. It's not from the movie. This episode was all about the bone reavers and what so other girl, the one who's like the knight in training, she keeps having like a vision or a dream or whatever. She knows how her mother was killed.
Okay.
She knows what the person who killed her mother looks like. So they are kidnapped by bone reavers. They get into a fight. Knight in training woman is about to get killed by bone reaver woman, and then bone reaver woman, the leader of the bone reavers, notices that she has the same neck tattoo as her, which means that they are sisters.
Okay.
And she takes her into her tent, and she's like, sorry I tried to kill you. This is crazy. You and I are sisters. Allow me to explain. So she basically says, like, the person who killed your mother was your father, the first bone reaver. He had 15 children before he was killed. He was killed by Mad Mardigan. You remember that one dude who was dressed a little weird in the first movie that Mad Mardigan killed? That was the first bone reaver.
Okay.
And now we are his children, and we've, like, recruited other people. So now the bone reavers are fucking everywhere. But it started with these 15 kids. I'm one of them. You're one of them. Long-lost siblings. But also, part of that description was, oh, shit, my best friend, the one I'm secretly in love with, killed my dad.
Right.
My dad killed my mom. Not a great person. But also, the girl that I'm, like, playing opposite in this TV show, her, like, there was just, like, because you don't think about that. And then these two characters meet up later because there's kind of been some tension about other things. And the first thing that the princess says is, like, I'm really sorry that my dad killed your dad. And I was like, oh my God, that is what that means. Like, that's just so much, like,
right,
that I was just, like, not thinking about in that scene. Also, they're just having, like, a beautiful on-screen queer romance story that's playing out, which is pretty cool. But that's almost besides the point. It was just a cool, like, it was such a neat way to incorporate the movie into this plot. Because they didn't really have to, but they did, and they're doing it in a lot of subtle, cool ways. They have the subtlety to be like, remember that thing in Willow? Well, we just don't want you to just remember it as a little gag. It was important, and here's why. Which is kind of what I think Star Wars was missing some of the time, because a lot of it in Star Wars is like, oh, they mentioned the Kessel Run,
right,
serotonin or whatever yay, they mentioned it,
right. No, I hear what you're saying.
So it's cool. I'm liking it a lot. I'm definitely going to, because it's got 3 episodes left, so I'm definitely going to talk about it next time when it's over a little, but then I'm done talking about it. But I'm really liking it a lot. And that's it for me. Fuck whatever else I don't remember what I was going to talk about before, but that's now on to Bullet Train.
Yeah.
So this movie,
it's about a train made out of bullets.
Yep, it's about, you remember the throne from Game of Thrones? It's like that, except it's a bullet train.
Yeah.
No, so this movie is a movie that I feel like was sort of on both of our radar, but we were equally just like,
well, it was just like a month or two. No, you know what? No, I take that back. It was in theaters. Maybe we were busy. Maybe it was just a busy couple of months for us. I would have gone to see Bullet Train. Maybe it was we hadn't talked super seriously about going to see it. I feel like it would have been weird if I was like, hey, want to go see Bullet Train? It's just not a movie
It would have, yeah.
I would have assumed we'd want
because
to see.
the other thing is about this movie, and this is not even a discussion about the movie. This is a discussion about my feelings before I watched the movie. But you hear this movie, and you're like, it's a Brad Pitt-led action movie called Bullet Train, and
Right,
you're like,
you
that
assume
couldn't
it's
be
generic.
more generic.
Yeah.
That couldn't be
Yeah.
like more like action hero of the week, another Bruce Willis, another
Can't wait
Sylvester
for The
Stallone.
Rock to show up in this one.
Yeah, it's just like cool for a movie for meatheads, neat. And then you watch the trailer and you're like, hold on, wait a minute, what is this now? And I was not disappointed. I really, really liked it.
Oh, yeah. It gave me... I'm just coming up with this now, just hearing you talk about it. It gave me some real Kill Bill meets Knives Out.
Okay.
It's kind of the vibe I was getting.
Yeah. The everything's connected of Kill Bill and the like, fuck, what's going to happen next? I can't look away of Knives Out? Or
Yes, that, but also the connection with Kill Bill is kind of like all these super cool assassins are here. But then in Kill Bill, like, some real world shit will happen. I don't know. Like, the best part, I mean, you've seen Kill Bill, right?
Yeah, it's only 2 movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw them both.
The one where her, like, female arch nemesis who only has one eye.
Oh, and then she like,
they're just like, she just snatches her other eye out.
Yeah.
And it's like just the tension's just gone and she's just screaming in a bathroom, smashing shit. And
no, I remember thinking that was kind of weird. Not just because she grabbed an eye, but I was like, oh, the tonal shift is like immediately.
That's what I'm talking about. I get that vibe a lot from this film as well. Just those that's a great way to put it. Those tonal shifts.
Rapid tonal shifts.
Yeah.
Of like, Brad Pitt almost isn't even the main character in this movie.
Hardly in like the first 30 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
It's really lemon and peach. Peaches?
Lemon and it's not peaches. Hold on, I'll look it up.
It's tangerine.
Yes, lemon and tangerine.
Lemon and tangerine.
Yes, because we're probably going to talk about them a while.
Yeah.
Lemon and tangerine. Let me know if you thought this too. They really gave me
Umbrella Academy. Those
Hazel and Cha-Cha from Umbrella Academy. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I think they were probably inspired a little bit.
They were
because I got the same exact feeling.
Let's just talk about this now before we keep going. And I've talked about this before. I think while we were playing a video game, I think I talked about this. But I have never liked Aaron Taylor Johnson in a role I've seen him in. He was fine in Kick-Ass. He was fine, but I was still a little like, I don't know about this kid. He's terrible in Age of Ultron, and he's a boring piece of toast in Godzilla.
I said this to Pauline. I watched this by myself. She was at work and like I was procrastinating.
Okay.
Schoolwork. So I watched it. No, you know what it was? I took a break. And by took a break, I mean I worked on my paper from the moment I got up till lunchtime. Then I was like, I'm gonna fucking watch a movie while I eat lunch. That's what this lunch is gonna be.
Got it.
But I had told her, like, she asked me what I thought, and I was like, because I liked him in Kick-Ass. I thought he did really well, and I was like, I have not seen him in a role that I liked him in since Kick-Ass. And he did a phenomenal job in this movie and the accent. He saved himself.
Yes.
With the accent.
Every every grievance I had of Aaron Taylor Johnson. Holy shit! Every grievance I've ever had of Aaron Taylor Johnson not present in this film. He was my favorite part, hands down.
He was phenomenal, and I wonder if, because I honestly thought he was buried. Sometimes that happens to actors. Like, no, I hate to say this, and I hope this isn't. I hope he gets, like a bit of a rebirth, like this dude's getting. But what's his name? Hopper.
David Harbour.
Yeah, I feel like Hellboy buried him a little bit. I feel like he made that. I feel like had Hellboy been successful, he wouldn't have made that Santa movie he just made. Violent Night.
Is that movie doing good? Because I
don't
also,
know.
because I don't care to see it,
really
but I
gave
also
me-
love David Harbour, and he was
Yeah.
also in Black Widow, which a lot of people didn't like.
It really gave me B horror movie vibes. I didn't see it, but like just from what I've seen about it, which isn't a bad thing.
Well, it's
B
not
horror
a
movies
it's
can be
not a
cool.
horror movie. It's like what do they call it? Like Home Alone meets
Oh, okay.
Die Hard or some shit like that.
Okay.
Because Santa's the good guy in that.
Oh, I didn't.
That's what
realize that.
disinterested me, because I thought Santa was gonna be like. I thought they were
I
gonna.
thought it was gonna be a Krampus style.
I thought they were
movie.
gonna do like, what if Santa's the villain? It's not Krampus, but what if Santa's the villain?
yeah.
But then I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, he's the good guy.
Yeah.
He's the Bruce Willis, and he interrupts a Home Alone situation, but he's also Magic Santa Claus.
Right. I'm glad this kid.
I'm glad he did this movie, because it seems like
He stuck around long enough to prove to us what he's got.
yeah.
Because I honestly did not. He drowned in the MCU.
Yeah. So much so that next time they wanted to do some sort of Quicksilver thing, they cast the other dude, and it was a big dumb boner joke.
Right.
A literal boner joke.
That's how, like, just how hard they went trying to make sure it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But he was phenomenal. The chemistry between him and the dude from Eternals.
Eternals, yeah, the
Both-
gay dude from Eternals.
By the way,
Faustus, I believe his name was.
2 Marvel characters. There's like a list in my head.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple, right? It wasn't just them 2.
It was them two. It was Domino from Deadpool
Yes,
was
right.
in the mascot.
And if we're gonna count Deadpool, Brad Pitt.
Well, if we're gonna count Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds
I know.
was in this
oh,
movie.
fuck! Oh my god! I was like, let's talk about it later. But like, wait, it's Deadpool. Holy shit! They obviously planned that out.
Oh, of course, dude.
But like, I'm in my headcanon, they planned that out while making Deadpool 2, a film that came out like
dude.
4 years ago.
Yeah, dude, there was a lot of surprise actors in this, which I
Yeah.
love. You don't expect Ryan Reynolds. You don't expect Michael Shannon from the main like bad guy, her father.
Oh, I know.
And you also don't expect, I don't know if I knew this because I looked it up, but I don't know if you knew this. The voice in his head was Sandra Bullock the whole time.
Oh, see, I didn't know that until obviously I saw her.
Right. But there's just like a bunch of secret
Yeah.
actors in this
Wait,
movie.
I bet you.
Oh, wait, wasn't? And Channing Tatum, he did it
Yes,
again. Channing
Channing
Tatum,
Tatum.
he keeps doing this. He keeps playing like he's in like it's
He's
gotta
in,
be like
Hateful Eight.
he's in
for
Hateful
2
Eight.
minutes.
He's in Don John. He's in not Ready Player One. He's in Free Guy.
Yes.
He just keeps playing the like joke cameo. How many movies is Channing Tatum? He's in like 9 movies where it's like, was that fucking Channing Tatum? It was.
You know, I bet you he's just made enough money in his young career that he's like, I'm gonna fuck around for a little bit.
That's really
'Cause-
what it feels like,
'cause
dude.
Here's the thing: unlike what's his name, Kick-Ass.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Unlike Kick-Ass, he had a flawless dismount.
Yes.
If people want to hire
Yeah.
Channing Tatum, they will hire Channing
Yeah.
Tatum. Maybe he doesn't need work right now. And he's just like,
It's just helping out his friend.
yeah, I'll do
I love, and I don't know what this says about me, but I love that, like, in multiple Hollywood pictures over the last 5 or 6 years, the butt of the joke was, hey, is that Channing Tatum? It's so, I just love it so much.
This film was so cool in like a breath of fresh air compared to films that like compared to action films that have been out. This was, and it really
yeah.
felt like this had to have been. I'm not saying Brad Pitt was attached to the writing or anything like that, but it really felt like somebody pitched this to Brad Pitt and he was like, I like this. You know what? I know a bunch of people. We're gonna get a bunch of people to be in this movie.
Yeah. No, because it's one of those movies, and I'm trying to... Kill Bill was a good example, but I'm trying to compare it to something else, but it's one of those movies where it's just like, Brad Pitt's the main character, obviously. He's top billed. He's the most famous person, and his story is the main story.
Yeah.
Maybe his isn't the most interesting, but you're definitely supposed to follow this character through the events
I kind
of this
like
bullet
that,
train.
though.
No, I like that a lot, but
As
what
far
I
as
was...
character development too, he didn't have a lot. We know he has a therapist. That's kind of all we know about him
Right.
for
But,
most of the film.
But what I love is that, like, it's one of those movies where it's like, and it's a train is such a good setting for this, where it's like there's a location filled with characters. They all have their own very interesting backstory. You're gonna see bits and pieces of it. Then you're gonna see how it all links together. But also, all of these different stories are played by incredibly famous and widely recognizable actors.
No, it was so cool. You know what? It gives me a little bit of Hateful Eight vibes too. Not in the fact that there's a bunch of famous actors, even though there is, but the whole idea of like we've all been put in this spot for one reason or another, and it's kind of a fight to the death. Who's gonna make it out alive? Type of situation.
But it's not like that's an interesting way of putting it, a fight to the death, because that's really what it comes down to. But it's not like a dangerous game situation. Like everyone has their own thing that they're after in this movie, like motivationally speaking. Most of them are after the briefcase, but like then you have the dude who thinks Brad Pitt killed his wife at their wedding, who just shows up.
I loved that whole part because he gets he's in the trailer.
Yes,
and he gets on the train, and they're just into it, and I was like, then he just immediately dies.
Yeah. No, he enters the train in a moment where you're like, oh, fucking come on, Brad Pitt was just about to get off the train for real.
Yeah.
And then now this random dude is here. They tell his entire story. He takes up like he takes center stage, and there's no other characters for like 10 whole minutes, and then he dies
immediately.
This movie apparently was based off a book called Maria Beetle.
Oh.
Which is a Japanese black humor thriller. Written by...
that must mean like dark humor?
Yeah, black humor. Yeah. Dark humor thriller novel by Japanese author Kotaro Isaka.
Okay.
Published in 2010, so it's a recent book.
Oh, also, they had...
Oh, it was adapted for stage in Japan in 2018 and then made into a 2022 American film.
Oh.
That's an interesting journey that book went on.
The
posters, just like all the characters at once. Look at this real quick.
We got a message. Sorry guys, I gotta go. Have an awesome stream and Merry Christmas. Bye.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Hypno. Have a great.
Hypno.
Yeah, we're not gonna be streaming Sunday because it's literally Christmas Day. But yeah, it really enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for being you.
Enjoy your holiday and enjoy your PS5.
Yes, yeah, that is exciting.
I forget what I was saying. I totally knew that the giant anime character mascot was gonna be a character from the first time we saw it. I was like, there's gonna be somebody important in it.
So I watched this movie with my dad, and my dad and I had an interesting situation where a couple weeks ago, him and I watched Train to Busan, which is just so happens to be a different movie that takes place on a Japanese bullet train. That one, however, is a zombie action thriller, right?
Sure.
Oddly enough, also has someone from the Eternals in it. It has the guy who played Gilgamesh, the punch guy with the big pie. He's like, my pie. Fucking terrible movie. The Eternals, not Train to Busan. Train to Busan was great. Not as good as Bullet Train, but it was great. But we had a similar scenario where we were like constantly finding ourselves comparing this movie to Train to Busan because we just also watched that together. And there was a moment where he bumps into the anime character, right? In a pretty like whatever.
When she gets the briefcase for a second. Is that what you're talking about?
No, even before that, they literally just like bump shoulders.
That's
for
what
a
I'm
minute.
talking about. That's when I called it. That's like the first time you see it.
Well, yeah, because my dad was like, oh, that's gonna be somebody, and I was like, okay, I'm not really sure, because I was on the fence. I was like, I'm not really sure about that. And then it got to a point where I was like, well, fucking everybody else has something. This mascot's gotta have some sort of something in it.
Right.
And similarly to the Mi Corazon character, she's revealed. You get her entire backstory. Her backstory's linked to the Mi Corazon character. And then
I love the way they all interplayed.
And then she dies. There's a couple different characters that
that was the funniest scene. It was so like, I don't know, it was like they gave me that Kill Bill vibe again. She's like having a real serious, intense moment in this film.
Right.
And he's just
it's almost, it really feels like Brad Pitt was almost like, this movie's not about you.
Yeah. I don't. There's just so many good things about this movie. The water bottle scene, which they like played to death in the trailer, and I really thought was gonna be stupid. I liked it a lot.
It was really good. He makes
Especially
them
where
buy
it's
it. I love their relationship.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's character died too early in this film. I know that you needed motivation. It was a cool bait and switch of like, now he's dead and sad about his brother.
Right.
But I loved that scene. I love the scene where he's like, do they know what Tangerine looks like? And he's doing the thing with them and he fucks it up. And then Aaron Taylor Johnson, this is the one part of the movie that I was like, okay, guys, come on. Aaron Taylor Johnson jumps onto a moving bullet train and climbs up knifes his way up the window. I was like, absolutely not. Not only could he not be able to do that, his skin would be peeling off of his face.
While we're talking about few no-nos in this movie.
Yeah.
It's too... Okay, this movie suffers from an issue that Clue kind of had, but got away with it better.
The Clue movie?
The Clue movie.
Okay.
Is at some point somebody's gonna notice something.
Oh, yes, yeah.
There's literally a scene where they trash an entire car, and there's like a little basket can like this big, and he's just like, shh. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
First of all, even if you did that and somebody looked in the trash can, and they're like, who the fuck broke $300 worth of booze?
There's also like a lot of, well, yes, yes, of course, but there's also like a lot of secret corpses everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Towards the beginning of the third act of the movie, she's in her mascot costume, I believe.
Yeah.
And then there's also the kid that they were supposed to watch who randomly died. But then there's also the Mi Corazon guy who he made him look like he was drunk and passed out, which is literally
not in her
from
costume.
Clue.
She's actually even more fucked up when you think about somebody should have noticed something. She's in attendance outfit.
Oh, okay.
Which is like more like, hey, what's that person doing sleeping on the job? Like, it was just, there was a few moments where I was like, I'm gonna get past this. But this is the most bullshit thing about this movie.
Well, because they go out of their way to introduce, it's a joke, of course, but they go out of their way to introduce an authority character. There's he's played by Masioka.
I thought he was gonna have a bigger role.
He's the character that keeps in the first act basically, and then never again. He keeps eyeing Brad Pitt, and he's like, don't have a ticket. You got to get off the train.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt, meanwhile, is not lying when he's like, I'm really trying to get off the train. I promise it's not working.
Yeah, I thought he would play a bigger role. They kind of there was just too much happening. I guarantee you there was like 3 scenes cut with that dude.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I loved the story of the water bottle.
Oh, that's right. They give the intricate backstory of the water bottle
because everybody's got the bleh, and then
right.
It's just the water bottle.
Yeah,
and it's like what
that felt very, and this is not an insult, of course. That felt very Indian cinema to me. Of
oh sure, yeah.
And now not the moment you've all been waiting for. Just kidding. It's about the water bottle this time, and he gets an on-screen.
I'm not gonna lie, I got hyped.
No, I was hyped too. No, I was hyped too. The most hype, not gonna lie, was when I saw Ryan Reynolds.
Oh well, yeah.
But
well, that was that whole scene where you find out Ryan Reynolds is here and doing stuff.
Because after the mascot is revealed, I'm like, okay. Other dude he keeps complaining about has got to be somebody.
Right.
I just don't know who it's going to be. And of course it's Ryan Reynolds.
I loved the scene where they did that because not only do you get the Ryan Reynolds reveal, but you get the reveal that this dude set up this entire thing for revenge, and he got the whole point of this movie, and he got the wrong dude.
Right.
And it plays into the whole bad luck thing, which we haven't even talked about. The main character supposedly carries all this bad luck. That's the worst luck you can have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not. They don't even really play that up. But I love that it's there.
Mm.
He was wrong job, wrong day. It was just poetic. I really liked this movie.
It's kind of interesting. It's a very roundabout way, but. There's another movie that came out this year that has Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock, and Brad Pitt in it. It's called Lost City.
Oh, really?
And it's that writer of a book gets kidnapped by Daniel Radcliffe, and she has to like do the events of her book movie,
Oh,
but it's like a joke. It's like Romancing the Stone, but it's a joke, and it just came out this year. But it's just interesting that like that movie also sort of had all three of those actors in it.
Right.
But those aren't even like the main. Yeah, I don't know. It was. I love the biggest laugh for me. I forget exactly what he said, but it's at the very end of the movie. They're trying to stop the train, and Brad Pitt apologizes about killing Lemon, and Tangerine is like, "That's okay, because I have a new brother now." And he's like, "Really?" He's like, "Fuck no, absolutely not. What are you talking about?"
The chemistry was incredible.
Yes,
with everybody.
Yeah.
Every single actor in this movie, I think, has been bumped up a level in my head. Like they all,
including Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, and Brad Pitt was already pretty high, but I was starting to have an issue with Brad Pitt. He's taken himself too seriously in his old age. I kind of needed this out of Brad Pitt.
I think things like Lost City. I know you haven't seen it. I also haven't, but apparently he has like a very funny, like prominent cameo in that movie. I feel like with stuff like Lost City and Deadpool 2 and this movie, I feel like Brad Pitt is, or Brad Pitt's agent is making an effort to not have Brad Pitt become like Jason Statham and Sylvester Stallone.
Well, that's the deal, right? Like, so I'm thinking back on Brad Pitt's filmography, right?
Yes, yeah.
And the big standouts for me personally, the two films that immediately come to mind, probably won't be the same for most people, but I immediately think Fight Club, and I immediately think Fury.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to say Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
No, but same difference though. This dude,
what's Fury? Sorry, what's Fury?
Fury is a World War II movie. He plays a tank commander.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But Fury's amazing if you haven't seen it yet.
I've never even heard of it, so
really,
yeah.
Okay, I've got a new honorable mention at the end of this one.
Cool.
I like Brad Pitt, and I think he picks good movies that are tasteful to play in and be serious. But he's not the young, like. My issue with Brad Pitt is he's almost got a Superman complex. No, I mean, not him personally, but like the characters that he plays.
Right.
And he's not the young guy. He's not like George Clooney does this shit. George Clooney will not make a fool of himself, is the vibe that I get from George Clooney.
Even his new movie, the George Clooney, Julia Roberts piece where it's like, we're old parents. Isn't it so funny how we're old? He's not the butt of the joke.
I bet.
It's not a Generation Z like, oh, look at these old people, don't they suck? It's a reverse of that. How it's like, even when we're trying to be funny and make fun of our age, George Clooney's the good guy.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, he's got a real alpha male, like,
George Clooney
vibe going. Yeah.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I've never quite put Brad Pitt in, but I was starting to feel that way. I was like, dude, you
were starting to feel like maybe that's where he's going, or that's where he deserves to be.
The issue is you can't be pushing your mid-50s and still be the young action hero. Just be just like age gracefully, I guess is
right. No, I think
this was a good move on his part.
I think Bullet Train is a perfect example of him aging gracefully in Hollywood, because it really he
takes the toxic masculinity out of it. Is what I'm
exactly.
Liking about
yeah, yeah. There was and he also there was definitely action scenes that included him, but you really do, even though it's not a major plot point, you can feel his age in this movie, and I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And it's
like, you look at Brad Pitt and you're like, this dude's old, and then he's like complaining about like how he hates his job and he doesn't want to do the movie that he's in, basically, and you're just like, oh yeah, relatable. Once again, relatable.
In Fury, which I won't talk too much about, he's the old man on the block, right? But he's still the Obi-Wan, if you will.
Obi-Wan from the original
A
series.
New Hope, yeah.
Oh, okay,
He's the leader. He's the big guy. He's the top dog. And it's like, okay, man, I get it. You were A-list actor #1 in the mid-2000s.
Right.
And now you've got to grow up, and you still have to. It almost feels like they're like pounding their fists on the desk, being like, "I still need to. Do you know who I am?" That's the vibe I get.
But that's not the vibe I get from Brad Pitt, which I think is the point you're making.
I was worried in his old age he needed this. He needed to pump up his own ego. That's the point. That's the core of what I'm getting at. Is it really feels like these actors go on to keep portraying these heroes,
right?
Regardless of their age, they're still impenetrable.
That's where the term vanity project comes from. Literally everything Stallone has done for the past 15, 20 years, other than the Creed movies, I would call vanity projects.
Right. And Fury, fantastic film, but I was really starting to get that vibe of you were starting to. It really feels like you just want to boost your own ego, a little midlife crisis issue going on, but those thoughts have been thwarted. I think Bullet Train put any of those vibes to bed. It started with Deadpool 2, because I was like, God damn, he humbled himself to show up for and it was funny.
He humbled himself so much that he played an invisible character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure he wasn't actually.
No, I know, but the only reason that's funny is because it's Brad Pitt.
Right.
If that was a nobody, it wouldn't be funny.
Right.
It would just be, oh, there goes that guy.
Right.
But the whole movie, you're like, oh, they didn't get an actor for this. And then you see him die, you're like, that's actor of stage and screen Brad Pitt. I know him. That's the only reason it's funny. So it had to be someone like that.
And I just, my image of Brad Pitt is coming back full circle. I had the same issue with Leonardo DiCaprio, but in a different sense.
Okay.
I thought he was, I picture Leonardo DiCaprio for a while, and I pictured Titanic pretty boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he is. I didn't think there was much sustenance. I thought it was, I don't know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You appreciate Leonardo DiCaprio more in his
the
Christ,
more he's,
will they ever give me an Oscar face
yes.
than his teenage heartthrob. What were they called? The Pussy Gang? Well, the Pussy Posse. That's what they were called.
Really?
Yeah, it was Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire and
Tobey Maguire made it into a gang called the Pussy Posse.
It was Leo. Well, they all hung out together. The media called them the Cat Pack, but they called themselves the Pussy Posse.
Oh.
It was Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, and it was Corey Feldman.
Okay.
And some other name I always forget because I didn't grow up knowing this person. But they were like a group of young boy teenage heartthrobs in the mid. When did Titanic come out?
The 90s.
Yeah, like mid 90s,
sure.
Early 90s.
That was my issue with him. Was I really thought it was going to be a bit of a flash in the pan, and then since he made Titanic and Titanic did so well, I was like, they're really gonna he's gonna be like a paper lion. Like they're gonna make him be this phenomenal thing, but he's really not. There's nothing behind it. But then there was.
Yes.
Then there totally was. And
if you showed me Titanic, which is a perfect example because it's right there at that age, and it's one of the most popular movies of all time that I still haven't seen, by the way. But if you showed me Titanic, and then you showed me what's that movie called? Django Unchained.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I would like the whiplash that would occur of like that's the same. Okay.
Or how's about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I mean, the dude's coming out with bangers. Movie with Brad Pitt.
Movie with Brad Pitt in it. Yeah.
Which they both did. That's what. But still kind of got the same vibe from that one.
I remembered what I was going to talk about in my honorable
mentions.
mentions.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Later.
Do we want? Okay. Well, we both got an honorable mention at the end here.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap up Bullet Train. We'll briefly talk about a thing each.
Sure. I mean, I could bring her down. Bullet Train was awesome.
Bullet Train was really good, and I just Do
you like this motion? Do you get what I mean when I keep doing this?
No, it kind of looks like you're going on a downward slope. What are you doing?
I never got the words out. I was like, let's land this thing or whatever. I was going to say something.
You're landing
and then I just kept doing this. I was like, does this make sense?
Not if you do it over and over again, it doesn't. This does not look like you're landing a plane. You see how I would confuse this with something else, right? No, I went on a personal journey with Bullet Train of I heard about it and I was like, neat. And then I saw the
Same.
trailer and I was like, wait. And then I was like, I must see that. And then I forget about it.
Mhm.
Mason
Mhm.
comes back with
Mhm.
like, it's the
It was-
best thing
it
I've
was
ever
so good.
seen.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, fucking fine. I'll watch it. And then I rented it, watched it. It was great, just like everyone said it was. And then fucking Netflix is like, we have it for free. Ha. You
Yeah.
had to pay for it, bitch. But yeah, no, it was really good. You-
Really enjoyed it.
You talk about now.
Okay, I'm gonna change the subject.
Yes.
Okay. 2 honorable mentions. One I'll say like a sentence on. The other one's Fury.
Yeah.
I saw A Christmas Story Christmas. Which
the
is
official sequel.
the official
Yeah.
sequel, because there is a Christmas Story 2 and it sucked.
There's I read an article. There's 11 Christmas Story sequels.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're not. It's not like Christmas Story 3, Christmas Story 4. It's just like they kept trying. I guess.
This was compared to 2, which was the only other one that I had seen.
Yeah.
This was really good.
Okay.
It
Cool.
does a bit too much callback, but like it kind of had to.
It's kind of the issue Willow's not having, where it's like we were one
Right.
thing and now we're making.
That's what made me
Yeah.
remember this. I watched it today. But if you're a fan of A Christmas Story, it's worth a watch.
I've actually never seen it.
3. No, I'm just kidding. 3 honorable mentions. No. You should watch A Christmas Story. It's pretty good.
There was a really funny bit on Best of the Worst where they're real life friends with Macaulay Culkin,
Oh yeah.
and he was on a Christmas episode and he like burst out of a present, and then one of the guys from RLM was like, "Oh my God, Peter Billingsley! I love A Christmas Story," and Macaulay Culkin's just like, "Yep, it's me."
Awesome. But Fury, okay?
Yeah. So is Fury a new movie?
It's like 2018.
Oh,
Somewhere
okay.
in
I
there,
thought you were describing.
2017.
Oh, so it is. Yeah, newer than like Troy.
Yes. No,
I thought you were describing the movie at Brad Pitt's height, but you're talking about a
No, he's
post Deadpool
an
like
older-
old man,
maybe
Pitt.
not post Deadpool,
but same
in that
yeah.
same era. He's an older guy. At this point, but
Then
so,
I probably saw trailers for this.
yeah, it was huge. It was a big thing. But hold on. Listen to me before
Okay.
you look it up.
Okay.
Because I want to see what you think about this.
Okay.
Uh,
Because I don't really love army movies, and I feel like you know this about me. But
I don't know if I did. So
Oh, okay.
maybe you might not love this, but it was a really good film. So
well, that's the thing. I'll get Jimmy down on any genre if it's a really, really good film. You know.
yeah, so the film starts and there's this desk jockey, for lack of a better term, but he's in the military, right?
Mm.
And I forget if it was because he speaks other languages or what, but they were like, you've just been recruited to be the new gunner for a tank. Get your... And he was like, me? I'm going to do it?
And this is Brad Pitt's character?
No.
Oh, okay.
Brad Pitt is the lead guy of the tank.
Oh,
So
okay.
he gets there. Shia LaBeouf's in this movie.
Oh.
There's everybody who's in the tank is a big name.
Okay.
I'm
just
what's
like-
his dude? What's his dude? The his buddy in Ant-Man, the dude who just tells the story that never ends.
Oh,
He's
okay.
also in it.
Yeah. The guy from those shitty DirecTV commercials.
Probably. And so they show up, right? And they're just these war-torn assholes to this kid. Their very first thing, right? He shows up and he was like, "What am I supposed to do?" And they're like, "Well, clean out the tank." He was like, and he gets in there, and the body's not in there, but all the remnants from the dude who was in there last. He's like, clean. It gets a little involved, but he's like, he comes out and he's puking and stuff, and
So is this a war drama?
yeah.
Okay.
In the whole film, it's kind of like you think it's gonna be about this, and then they're like, but not plot twist, but like we're taking a right turn. This is happening.
Yeah,
now.
plot like diversion.
Divergence. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole movie, he's like refusing to act as quickly as they need him to, because, and it's clear he doesn't want to kill people,
Oh,
and he's
okay.
the gunner of the tank.
Right.
By the way, gunner, not the guy who shoots the missiles. He's got the machine gun up front.
Right.
So like they're going through. It's just a lot of like, well, here's why we think this way. Why don't you think this way? Well, you should think this way. Eventually, they become the only tank in their platoon. Everybody else has been knocked out.
Okay.
Everybody else is dead. So they're driving down this street, a scene you don't expect anything from, and they hit a landmine. Their track is destroyed.
Their track?
yeah,
okay, yes, yeah.
So they can't move.
Right.
So, and by the way, they downplay this scene so much, and I can't. You think it's just another step in the story, we're going to continue on. So they're like, all right, we got to fix this thing. You go on lookout. We're going to stay here and fix this.
Oh, and then is that the rest of the movie is?
Well, listen to this.
Okay,
so they send the kid, the gunner, out on lookout, right? So he's like half a mile away, just sitting in a tree or something, and they're trying to fix this thing. And he sees off in the distance, there's got to be like 1,200 Nazis.
Oh, Jesus.
Coming towards them. So he's booking ass back to them, and he gets there, and he's like, we don't have time. We got to figure something out. They're coming here now. The rest of the movie is they funny, we've been talking about this, they Home Alone. It's not funny at all. I need to get that.
Home Alone by way of Skyfall.
Right. These Nazis.
That's
and the
cool.
whole rest of the movie is there's 5 of us. There's got to be 1,000 of them. It then turns into 300. How long can we're on this one dirt road, and they're coming here. They're not going anywhere else. They are coming here. And then I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But that is the rest
I
of the
only
movie.
giggled because 300 is another movie I have never seen before.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
though,
I
right?
do. I kind of my interest in ever watching 300 is going down and down and down the more I watch Zack Snyder's Justice League movie.
It should be going down and down the more you get away from culturally appropriate movies, because that one wasn't.
I watched the parody, the shitty.
Oh, I did too. Yeah,
it was called "We Came
Then you saw it.
We Came as Romans."
Oh,
was that what it was called?
Probably. But it's so good in the last. Once you finally get to the movie, which is that part,
right.
It's just so like, all right.
That
I have such a feeling of
yeah,
because the sun's going down, and it's just like the calm before the storm.
Yeah,
and they're planning shit, and they're figuring. And you don't know what the plan is until it's playing out.
Right.
Oh my God. I might go home and watch Fury.
That does sound cool. I will let you know if I tune into that.
Your honorable mention.
Complete and utter tonal shift.
Was it also Fury?
No, tonal shift.
No, I know.
Yeah, fuck, he talked about Fury so much. That's what I was going to talk about. Now I have to pivot again. No, there's a trailer. I was going to talk about a trailer.
Okay.
There's a trailer that is out for a movie that I've been excited for ever since I heard that they were making it. And I have. Trailer was super short. It was a teaser.
Okay.
And it was one of those teasers where it was like a minute, 20 seconds, and you could really tell that the first minute and I'm going to say minute and 11 seconds are not going to be part of the movie.
Okay.
It was like actually literally a teaser.
Yeah.
And then the last like 4 or 5 seconds of this trailer, they show like a bunch of stuff that they're like, oh, just like a bunch of like boom, 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 boom. Oh, this is what the movie's going to be. And I am in fact talking about the Barbie movie.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Do you know who's playing Barbie?
Yes. Margot Robbie.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm very torn.
Okay.
On the Barbie movie.
Sure.
Because I love Barbie.
She hasn't done a bad job beyond Harley Quinn. I know that's like her big thing, but like I don't mind Margot Robbie outside of Harley Quinn.
Oh. See, Margot Robbie might be one of my least favorite
No, that's
actresses.
fair. The issue is she hasn't done much outside of Harley Quinn. Like I liked her in
I did not like her in that.
Oh, see, I didn't mind her. I wasn't saying she was the best part,
Right.
but I didn't mind her.
I've never liked Margot Robbie in anything I've seen her in. And she is playing the main character of this Barbie movie. Here, a few things. This movie has a fuck ton of famous people in it.
Yeah.
But nobody knows who any of them are playing. Margot Robbie is playing Barbie. Ryan Gosling is playing Ken.
Mhm.
Other than that, nobody knows who anybody's playing. But
Yeah.
the movie, the 4 or 5 seconds of this movie they showed, it looks really cool. It looks like it might be a musical. Not quite sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Fucking Simu Liu is in this movie, the guy who plays Shang-Chi. And he's fucking yucking it up. It looks good, but I'm torn because I really don't like Margot Robbie. And I just I don't know if I ever explained this to you, but I kind of knew. I heard that a Barbie movie was happening, and I was like, cool. And then I saw some sort of news thing that was like, Ryan Gosling cast as Ken. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I just had a moment where I was like, I bet Margot Robbie's playing Barbie, isn't she? And then I looked it up, and I was right. And I don't know how I no-scoped that. But I was just like, and of course she is.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
I don't like her. And I don't. Every time I see her in a thing, I'm like, oh, well. Every time I see her in a thing I wanted to see, I'm like, well, I'll still watch it. I don't have to like her to like this movie.
Right.
But in this one, she's playing the main character. She's playing the titular character. She's playing Barbie in Barbie, and she's gonna be Barbie. There's no way around it.
At least it's not an IP we care about. At least it's not I don't know, Chris Pratt. What is he gonna play, Mario? That would be silly.
That'd be crazy. What if the guy who played Star-Lord? Well, you gotta think, right? If in this crazy made-up scenario that you're pitching, if Chris Pratt was playing Mario from the Super Mario Brothers universe, big if, he did voice Emmett in the Lego movies, so you'd think that he'd know how to voice act in a children's film. Yahoo!
Yeah.
Yahoo!
No, I know.
It's a me.
It's a me, Mario.
Oh man, disappointing stuff all around. Oh man. Well, that was Bullet Train. Bullet Train was
not
exceptional. No, not disappointing at all. Chris Pratt, I think I'm gonna have to really. I think there's a larger conversation about Chris Pratt that we're not having, that we're gonna have to have soon. And when I say we, I do mean every living person on planet Earth. But yeah, that was our movie podcast. Stick around. We're gonna thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, let's plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.